Hey everyone, Nick from Mossy Creek with this week's fly fishing forecast. Today is Monday, July 24th. Just wanted to take a quick second and thank everyone who came out to Salem this weekend. We had an awesome time down there at Parkway Brewing. Thank you everyone there at the brewery for taking care of us and brewing some great beer and just having a great place for us to hang out. Everyone who came out and shopped and casted rods and hung out, TU and Project Healing Waters down there. Thank you guys. It was an awesome weekend. We had a great time. Already looking forward to next time we get down there. That being said, on the calendar right now, August 13th, which is a Sunday, we're heading to Norfolk. We'll be at Elation Brewing. Really looking forward to that one. So everyone kind of in that area, we're coming down to the beach. We're looking forward to seeing you all. As always, if you got certain rods or certain rod weights, shoes, something specific that you're interested in trying out, give us a call just to make sure we have it on the truck. We're happy to accommodate anything like that, and we're really looking forward to it. We're hoping to have a couple more dates on the books here soon, maybe one or two by the end of the year. So, keep your eyes peeled. We'll have some of that coming out here shortly. So let's talk fishing. We're finally kind of in those summer temperatures, like Andy said last week. We're kind of holding steady with that. If you look at temperatures at the end of this week, the beginning looks a little bit mild. The next few days, we're like mid 80s. Some chances of thunderstorms in the afternoons. And then by the end of this week, like Thursday, Friday, we're looking at some of the hottest temps we've had all summer, like 93, 95, real hot days. So chances of afternoon thunderstorms when we get this hot are pretty much every day, regardless of kind of what the forecast says. So keep an eye on the gauges for random bumps and stuff like that. Right now, there's not really anything that looks too concerning as far as like measurable rain. Hopefully just a few things to kind of bump us along. The gauges have really fallen. We're like pretty flat and steady now at average flow. We had a little bit of rain last week that bumped some of the streams, and that's kind of flushing out of the system. And so, to stay at that average flow and good flows, we're going to need a few more storms here and there. So looking pretty good right now. Those mountain streams are starting to suffer a little bit from the lower water. Some of your bigger drainages or places that just hold a little bit water are going to be in better shape. But, I was out on the dry river a couple days ago, and it's getting really low. Like Andy said last week, and kind of how we've been talking for the last few weeks, finding moving water is pretty key on those brook trout streams, but that's getting tough. Water's really getting low. There's not as much moving water. And, with the hot temps we have this week, we're going to probably start to get to some, more questionable temps. Some guys last week were getting water temps in like the mid 60s at the end of the day. So it had been nice and cool mornings, but these, 93, 94 degree days, you might want to kind of lay off some of those streams. So spring creeks are going to be best off. Mossy Creek, Beaver Creek, Spring Run, tailwaters, check what they're releasing. If you kind of look at those release forecasts, those can be great options as well. But those tailwaters and those spring influence streams are going to be key if we stay kind of in the same water flow. Like I said, if we get some of these bigger storms, could really refresh some of those. That could all change. But right now, most of our brook trout streams, at least here close in the valley, are starting to get pretty low. Terrestrials were working good. Beetles, ants, little droppers. That should only get better if we get a little bit of rain. Spring creeks have been awesome. Terrestrial fishing's really swinging now. Beetles are everywhere. If you look at all the different plants along the creeks, it's just piled with Japanese beetles and all kinds of terrestrials, and fish are really responding to that. You'll see really thick trico hatches in the mornings typically. Those will get those fish up and feeding. You'll see them feeding real consistent on tricos some mornings, and then it kind of keeps them up in the top of the water column for the rest of the day, looking for a beetle, an ant, a hopper, whatever it is. So when I fish these creeks this time of day or time of year, if I'm not seeing something real specific like the trico or a fish uprising consistently, I like to fish like a hopper or some kind of big dropper with a nymph dropped off of it, and I'll kind of blind fish that if I'm not seeing something active. More so than any time of the year, fish will come up and cross a big dry fly on the surface. They can be pretty opportunistic. There don't have to be 400 hoppers at your feet for them to come up and crush a hopper. So if you're just kind of blind fishing, that's a great way to do it. Small little subtle nymph. I've been fishing like the light brights or a pheasant tail or a little soft tackle, something like that. And then I always have a beetle or an ant, maybe a trico ready for that fish that's rising consistent. A really consistent rise in trout right now on Mossy and some of our spring creeks, you're going to have a hard time passing up a well-placed beetle. So make sure you've got those in your boxes. We got a lot of different beetle patterns. People always ask me, like, which beetle do I get? More important than having one specific beetle, I would say, is having some variation in what you have. So if you're getting some beetles, get a couple different sizes, a couple different colors, so that if you need to make a change, you have something that's different. I think that's more important than having like the perfect beetle pattern. That kind of covers most of our spring creek stuff. They're in great shape. They'll clear up a little bit if we haven't had a storm. If we get a quick storm in the evening, they'll be a little bit cloudier sometimes. They're getting real close to being done with the restoration on Mossy, so we'll keep you posted with that as well. Shenandoah's been awesome. Last week we had some of our best bites of the whole summer, even with some of the little bit stained water. It's been clearing pretty much every day since then. River's getting low and clear, nice and good, right around average flow, so not crazy low yet. Fishing's been awesome. We've been fishing a lot of baitfish patterns in the deeper water, or when fish maybe don't seem as active some days. Crayfish and Crittermite patterns have been real effective, and good topwater fishing, of course, as well. We're hearing a lot of those cicadas now, that dog day cicada. You wake up in the morning, you're already sweating, you hear those things singing in the trees. A lot of times that can be a good sign for our topwater fishing. So, aside from the swim frogs and the bait fish patterns and stuff we've been fishing on the surface, make sure you've got some cork bugs or some poppers or something for fishing a little more passive, plopping down on the shade line, looking for that fish that's waiting for a cicada to fall 30 feet out of a tree. They know what that sounds like, and so there's some fish that are going to come chase topwater and chase a frog down and stuff, but also times there's some fish that'll be sitting up under a tree waiting for something to fall, almost sipping a little more passive like a trout. So don't be afraid to plop something down that shade line, let it drift, take your time, fish it slow. That can be really effective, especially this time of year. Laying off the muskie, it's been really warm. Carp fishing, especially as we get low and clear, you'll have more and more carp shots. So look for them mudding, look for them tailing or cruising little shallows. We love fishing crayfish patterns. We've got some carp specific flies as well, like the cray and the headstand and some of that kind of stuff. So if you have questions about carp, always give us a call. We're happy to help with that. But we're looking forward to it. It's summer. We're bug fishing. We're having a great time. So we'll keep you posted if there's any big storms that do anything more than drop a little bit of rain. But keep your eyes on the gauge. Give us a call if you have any questions, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.